Right, this video we're gonna be filleting flatfish. Tagline for all our videos is about learning a new skill, maintaining a skill, or improving a skill. So we're talking about flatfish. This flatfish right here is called a plaice. Easiest way to identify the plaice is from its orange dots that located around there. Now, there's various different types of fishes, but we tend to associate fish into groups. One group is flatfish, another group being round fish, another group being oily fish. Now, a flatfish, they tend to swim on the bottom of the ocean. That's why you may find one side is white, and then there's the characteristics that differentiate between the different types of flatfish. Example being lemon sole, Dover sole. Now, with flatfish have 4 fillets. 1, 2, on the other side, 3, 4. Whereas a round fish, you will find have 2 fillets. 1, 2. Whenever we're working with fish, it's always important to check the quality points first. The quantity points, making sure that we are using the freshest quality ingredients and not looking on a food safety point of view. So, quality points of a fish is quite simply this. We're using our senses. Fresh smell. If a fish smells like a fish, that fish is no good. So we're not looking for a fishy smell when it comes to fresh fish. So fresh smell, not sticky to the touch. Also, we're looking for eyes to be full, not sunken into the head. So full eyes that protruding out from the head. This works with flatfish, this works with round fish as well. So eyes that are protruding out. Also, the gills. What you're aiming for is bright red gills. This is another indicator of a fresh fish. We also have something called a firm to the touch. When you press the fish, a fresh fish, the skin, the flesh will bounce back when it's being pressed. It bounces back, and that indicates freshness as well. So, to fillet a flatfish, first thing we need to do is the intestines need to be removed. On a flatfish, you'll notice they are on the right hand side when the fish is faced this way. They would be on the right hand side, and it's located just there. These have been removed, we've washed it, we've cleaned it, so there should be none within there. We're going to remove the fins using our scissors. So we're coming in and we're just cutting. There's a line that we follow. Like anything, whether it's working with meat or fish, the fish actually tells us what lines, I don't know why I'm using my right hand, which line to follow. So, removing our fins right there. We come down the other side and do the exact same process. Following that same line for the fins. We do the exact same to the tail. As you can see, we're always looking to work smart, we're always looking to work clean. Having something to capture all our waste is extremely important, whether you're working with meat, fish, or vegetables. Any time, always have a waste bowl. Now we have our fish. We can clearly see that line that separates the 2 fillets. That line runs all the way from the head to the tail. And this is the line that we would follow. Now, with a flatfish, remember what we said, there are 4 fillets. The bone sits in the middle and it protrudes slightly as a point. There is a fillet that runs on one side there's a fillet that runs on the other side. Now this bone is the same on the reverse. Again, there's fillets that run there and there's fillets that run there. So it's very important on this stage that we're going to be removing one fillet at a time. In order to do that, remember that line I just spoke about? We're going to put our knife right in. Use that point. By the way, we are using a filleting knife. Difference between our filleting knife and any other knife, flexible blade. We've sharpened it, applying the correct sharpening techniques as well. So, back to it, we've applied our point and we're now following this line. Following the line. Following that line. Now we're using our fingers, and our fingers help to determine which side, remember what I said, it's a point, one fillet that side, one fillet that side. Our fingers helps to determine which side of the bone are we on at that point. I can feel right here, and I can feel that that bone is on this side. So that means I'm ready to take off this fillet here. I can feel it. So, using the tip of my knife, I'm coming down. Whenever you're working with fish, you got to remember this. Every cut you do on the fish shows. So you have to be precise and you do long cuts. Long cuts, no sawing techniques, long strokes. So again, we're coming in, long strokes, long strokes. Now at this point here, once I've come down the center, I'm going to be turning my knife to start coming down in order to start removing the flesh away from the bone. I'm keeping the knife in contact with the bone at all times to help reduce the amount of wastage and also to get the fillet off cleanly. So there you see how I bend my knife? That's what's going to be happening. I'm going to be using that motion right there. So again, let's apply it and we're running it down. Using that long strokes. Using my fingers to curl back the fillet to help identify where to go. Using those long strokes. As you can clearly see, there's our long strokes right there. You hear that? You can hear it when you're in contact with that bone. And as you can, I can see that bone. That means I'm getting as close as possible to the knife is getting as close as possible to that bone in order to remove the fillet. At this point here, remember, with a flat fish, you always find one long fillet, one short fillet. It's on both sides. There's one long fillet, one short fillet. This is our short fillet that we're working with here. Now the short fillet, at this point here, this isn't meat. This is part of the belly. Yes? You can see that line right there. We can easily come in right there. And then by coming off. Don't worry about that at the moment. We will do our clean up afterwards. So same thing again. Now we got one fillet right there. We got our long fillet. Now our long fillet, whereas our short fillet stops there, our long fillet goes all the way up to here. That's meat. So we can use a diagonal cut right there. That gives us our indication straight away where our fillet goes to. Now same thing again. We felt on this side for our short fillet. Now we need to come in on the other side. Remember, there's our point to our bone. So we're now going to come in on the other side of that bone in order to start working that fillet off. So same thing again, I've come in at the start and then I'm going to start going long cuts straight down. Long cuts, rolling back, bending the knife, keeping it as close as possible to the bones. And if you are running it as close as possible, you hear the knife running across the bones. Same thing again, we come up. Make life easier. Turn the fish a bit. And we're running it. Make my life easier. Can you see that? Notice I'm doing long strokes. I'm not doing a sawing technique, because I do a sawing technique, it shows on the flesh of the fillet. Yes? So therefore there's no sawing, and I'm doing those long strokes, keeping the knife in contact at all times with the bone to help remove that fillet. Now you will do the same to the other side. Same thing again, running, seeing that line, running that same process, the long fillet, the short fillet. We'll run that same process again. For the sake of this video, we're gonna then work with once we have our fillets. Now there's various different things that we can do with our fillets. First things first though, we need to trim it to make it look more presentable. So as you can see, there's a little bit of bone there. So we're just coming off and just trimming up right here, at this edge here, there's that line. Now when this cooks, this falls apart, this comes away. So to avoid that, because we're always thinking about our presentation, we're gonna trim that off. So we're gonna come in and we're gonna start cutting that away. There we go. And there we have our fillet. At this stage here, what you will find is within a flatfish, that's why people tend to eat or enjoy eating flatfish, because the amount of bones that are not present in a flatfish. In a flatfish, the bones that you only find is located in the center rib, and where the fins are usually located. Very rarely you will find any bones located on your fillet. But what you would do is run your finger just here, just to see if you can locate any bones, using a pin boner, remove if there is any. But it's very unlikely, especially on a flatfish, you'll find any bones. Now what we also could do is, once we've done our trimming, is say for example, we need it to be skinned. If we need it to be skinned. Now what we will aim to do is, with skinning, use a little bit of salt. A little bit of salt. Now there's a reason behind using a little bit of salt. We will put a little bit of salt onto our table right there. Now we're going to skin this fillet. Using a little bit of salt will be for your fingers. First cut, it goes away from where you're going. This helps to form our grip. Okay? So that first cut is to help to form our grip. We then turn the knife around. Look how I keep that knife. It's flexible. It's a flexible blade. We're bending our knife. Again, same like when we're taking off the fillet from the bone. Now we're taking it from the skin. We're then keeping that flat knife. Once we've got into, we can now grip the tail, and we're keeping it flat, curling it back. We're noticing the progress. The whole aim is you're not trying to do it like so, because that means flesh is going to be left behind. So we want that knife really flat in order to start working it across that skin. Curling it. The reason why we do that, to see our progress. We're seeing our progress. It helps to identify any problems, because if I went straight away and then I didn't actually check, it could easily, what can happen is, if you pull too tight here, it curls. So what you will find is sometimes it curls so much that when you go across, you've left a bit of the skin right in the middle. So when you're holding it, you're not tugging it as much. So we keep that process going all the way over. As you can see, keeping that grip. That's why we put the salt there, to help with our grip. And then what you will find is, if you've done it correctly, there should be minimal waste. As you can clearly see, minimal waste. And also, clean fillet. This is our fish prep. And there we go.